With that being said,
Is it time?
it is time.
Is it time?
I think it's time, Joseph.
It's
What is
college
it time
football
for?
time.
Woo, baby, it is time for the Core 4, and we are moving on to college football, baby. We have 4 games for you guys we're going to get into tonight.
By the way, before you get into the Core 4, did want to mention Georgia and Tennessee both off this week.
Yeah, so it's
we're very non-biased this week.
Yeah, very bipartisan.
very analytical, very
demure.
getting deep in these games. No fading my own team to make myself feel better. No emotional backing of my own bets. So, but big game coming up. We don't like Florida. Go Dogs. Sorry. Anyways,
Go Billy Napier.
we're going into the Core 4 this week. It's week 9 college football. We got 4 games for you guys. First game we're starting with, boys, Illinois and Luke Altmaier and Brett Bielema are traveling out to Eugene to play the Oregon Ducks, the hot, recently number 1 ranked Oregon Ducks. How are we feeling, gentlemen?
This has all the making of Illinois going in there and winning that game in Oregon. Just because they're the number 1 team. They got the expectations now. I could just see them laying an egg, but am I going to pick Illinois? Absolutely not. Dylan Gabriel and those boys showed us what they're capable of against Ohio State. Now, again, I will say this. When it comes to Oregon, I would assume that they're not overlooking Illinois because Illinois is ranked 20th in the nation.
They're a
They've
good
got
team.
Michigan the next week at the Big House. That doesn't really have the same feel that it would last year, a year ago, if they were playing J.J. McCarthy and company and Blake Corum. So I'm going to go with Oregon. They are the number 1 team in the nation. They will take care of business.
I'm going to double down on that. And I know G and I have been agreeing a lot tonight.
It's weird.
Which is abnormal. But I can't shy away from the fact that Oregon's got too much speed on the outside. I mean, I think they're playing phenomenal football. And we will see. Oregon's going to get got this season. It's not going to happen this week. Give me Oregon.
Where do they get got then? I mean, they've got Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. Where do they get got? This could be the spot they get got.
This looks like the best spot on their schedule to get got.
Otherwise, they're going undefeated.
I don't believe in Dan Lanning for a second, y'all. I'm sorry.
I love Dan Lanning.
I'm sorry. I just don't believe in him, bro.
You don't believe in Dan Lanning?
Not for a second. I don't. I don't see what everybody else
My
sees.
dog. My dog. That's my dog. Well, Dan Lanning was the DC for Kirby.
Yeah, no, Dan Lanning, he's a dog for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I respect it. But, man, if I can tell you anything.
I love you, though.
I love you.
If you trust me on anything, you trust me on telling you how that program at Georgia's run, right? You would expect that.
Of course.
Of course, because I'm obsessed.
Of course.
So if you're going to trust me on anything, you got to trust me on how a program that is from the tree is also going to be run. Boy, there ain't nothing in that building that says number 1 on it. There ain't no doubt in my mind.
Wow, what a Matt Stafford move to Cooper Kupp. Y'all have to watch this evading of a pass rush. This looked like
prime Stafford, baby.
2014 Matt Stafford.
This is a prime game for Vegas.
Sorry, I just got.
No, you're good. Prime. Hey, we appreciate prime Stafford around here. We appreciate prime Stafford around here.
Brian Flores called it up beautifully. What a spinny.
Oh, look at. Oh my, look at it. They said he's
Kupp.
too old. They said his back's broken. Boy, Stafford out here dealing.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's better than Matt Ryan.
Preach, brother. Preach. I mean, I'm with it. Listen. You're not gonna catch any flack from me. Anyways,
I just don't want to catch eyes with Miggy right now.
Yeah, I feel he's not even. Anyways, back to the Oregon Ducks.
I'm just messing with you, dog.
Man, this feels.
I don't know how to push those buttons.
Go ahead, Jay.
This feels like a game that Dan Lanning is praying for. Yeah. You just got ranked number 1. You're playing a hot team in Illinois that just beat Michigan. You got them at home. This feels like a game where Dan Lanning's like, we haven't done anything. We haven't proved anything. Boys, Absolutely. The whole season is still ahead of us, and it starts right here. Ducks are going to roll, man. Illinois,
Quack,
they've
quack.
looked good, but they can't handle
Quack,
that
quack.
speed. They don't know what to do with Tez Johnson. They don't know what to do with Evan Stewart. They don't know
So wrong.
what to do with Dylan Gabriel and the boys. Give me the Ducks, man. Rolling over the Fighting Illini.
I respect it. And I respect your take about Matt Stafford. I do. That's your opinion. I'm a fan, but
He's not, from a pure quarterback standpoint, like,
Matt Stafford
Matt-
wins, bro.
eh.
I know he
Did
was
you
in
say
Detroit.
Matt Stafford wins?
He was in Detroit. He was in Detroit.
No, like, talent-wise, like, he's better than Matt Ryan. But, like, Matt Ryan's, like, just better at football, I think. Like,
Is he?
The perfect comp for these guys is like oh my gosh.
I mean, Matt was like Stafford was relegated to the depths that is
All right.
Detroit.
Here we go. Shady McCoy and Le'Veon Bell. That is the perfect comp. Both of them elite, both of them great, and it's truly a coin flip. They both are just legends in their own right.
well, Stafford's got the Super Bowl, and Matt Ryan has the MVP.
But that he should have a Super Bowl. Though.
He
Everybody
should,
knows
but you
that.
got to finish.
Got to finish.
You got to finish.
Stafford, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Ryan, a 4-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, an all-time or 1-time All-Pro. Stafford's never had that. So, like, Matt Ryan is better at football,
Yes.
but Matt Stafford's a better thrower of the football.
Is Matt Ryan better at football, or did he go to a better franchise?
How good were the Falcons of a franchise?
When they started, their quarterback was arrested and put in jail.
Were they better? Okay, at the state when Matt Ryan took over the Falcons,
They had a better.
were they
had-
better than the Lions as a franchise?
Yes.
I mean, you did have Roddy White, so yeah.
Yeah.
You brought
Roddy,
in Tony Gonzalez shortly after that. You had
Julio.
And I
Julio
know,
shortly after that.
I know Stafford had Megatron. I get it.
But that's really all he had.
That's all he had.
That's all.
And he saw Aaron Rodgers a lot.
You know what he's got from Detroit? About 12 screws in his back.
And his fingers don't look the same.
But he
So-
tried real hard.
I wish he got traded earlier in his career so we could have saw prime Matt Stafford.
He did get Detroit to a playoff.
Like Matt
is pretty
Stafford
impressive.
with like a Des Bryant down there in Dallas.
Oh,
I would have loved to see that.
Yep.
it's my boy.
Getting back to college.
He got Detroit to the playoffs 3 times, actually. I'm sorry.
Oh, shout out to Matt. I didn't know that.
Brother.
Lost every
I
single
mean,
time, but like he
But
balled.
still, dude.
He
Like,
balled in the first one in 2011. I think it was against the Saints. 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Next one in 2014, I think it was against the Cowboys. 323, a touchdown and a pick. And then the last one, not great. 205 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
he just needed the right team and the right coach. Stafford's a goat.
The GOAT?
No, a goat. Not the goat. I mean, Tom's the goat.
He's the winningest quarterback of all
Yeah.
time.
But Stafford's up there.
I mean, Pitt is
And Honda McCord has thrown his 3rd pick 6 of the game.
Jeez Louise.
4th overall.
Our boy Corey Belazzi
It's
is
rough
loving
out
life
here.
right now. Attaboy, Corey.
This is
The boy's just not seeing it. It's ugly for Syracuse right now.
Trying to console him.
Shout out to the Orange. We feel bad. It's ugly right now. So
All right, so are you going Illinois or are you taking Oregon?
I'm rolling with the Ducks, baby.
You're going Oregon?
I'm all in on Oregon.
All right, so we're all Oregon. Hit me with the next one, Jay.
All right, boys. The next game is a team that needs to get off the mat versus a team that was severely overhyped going into the season. The Missouri Tigers are rolling on down to Tuscaloosa to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are just looking for some kind of consistency this weekend. What we thinking, boys?
Is Brady Cook playing?
Brady Cook is doubtful. Last I saw, he was doubtful for this game.
That changes everything. I'm taking the Crimson Tide. I think that we talked about this a little bit on Hits 96, but you're looking at two of the three best receivers in football on the same football field, and Luther Bird and Ryan Williams. This is going to be a shootout. No defense is going to be played. I just think Jalen Milroe finds it. He has looked really bad here the last 3 weeks of football. I think he finds it, and I think he's able to make more plays. And ultimately, I think Ryan Williams is going to find the end zone multiple times in an Alabama victory. That's just me.
I'm going to roll with you. I think Bama wins this game. And I think for the first time, Bama wins a game kind of big, especially if Brady Cook's not playing. As much as I love Luther Burden, and I think he's incredible, I don't exactly feel comfortable in Missouri's backup quarterback situation. So give me Alabama. Give me Jalen Milroe to finally find it this week. A get up off the mat game for Bama. Ryan Williams to finally show up after he's kind of been what feels like a ghost the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the Bama defense to just kind of eat Missouri alive and further solidify that Missouri should have never been a top 10 team.
Oh, they'll be
Going into the
unranked
season.
once they drop this game.
Yeah.
G, how you feeling?
Well, I mean, I'm with you guys. I second it. Drew, I was just looking at the backup quarterback for Mizzou, Drew Pine. And I hate to do this to my fellow Connecticut boy. This man is from New Canaan, Connecticut, not too far from my hometown of Sandy Hook, Connecticut. This man has been in college for 5 years now. This is his 5th year, and he's a sophomore.
Say like a redshirt sophomore? Or?
I mean, probably, but it just says sophomore. But he started his career at Notre Dame in 2020, obviously COVID, and then 21, 22. Played a bunch in 22, actually had 254 attempts, had 22 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions, so he wasn't bad.
Oh.
Arizona State last year, I can only imagine he either got hurt or got benched. I don't know. And now he's been at Mizzou this year and really hasn't played much behind Brady Cook, and maybe that they're hoping that he'll be the guy behind Brady Cook once Brady Cook finally leaves.
I don't remember him at Notre Dame.
I don't either. Do you remember him at Notre Dame?
Do I remember Drew Pine?
Yeah.
At Arizona State, briefly, yeah. He played a little bit at Notre Dame.
He had his most success at Notre Dame in 2022.
He was serviceable, but
I mean, over 2,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 6 picks. That's pretty good.
yeah, it's
That's very
decent.
decent.
But it's not going to matter on Saturday because Alabama and the Crimson Tide are going to roll Tide, baby, after they got embarrassed at Neyland Stadium on Saturday. Smoke them if you got them. The Tide are going to shake back, and Caleb DeBoer is going to lay down the hammer along with the rest of that offense. They're going to win big over Mizzou. Sweep it out.
So we're all on the Tide. Well,
All on the Tide, all on the Ducks.
I'm never
not surprised.
I'm
Well,
going to say
boys.
those words.
what's that?
I'm never going to say RTR or whatever they say down there.
Yeah, I got you. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Our next game is actually the home of College Game Day this weekend in what we all expected to be the game for Game Day weekend. Washington is going to Indiana. Tell me who saw that coming.
Not me.
Not I.
Never in a million years. An interesting angle I want to get y'all's opinion on. So Curtis Rourke is out for Indiana. You boys happen to know who's starting at quarterback for Indiana?
He's
that?
a Vol for life. I know
He
that.
is. Boy's name is Taven Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Was originally committed to Tennessee, went to Tennessee, and
yeah.
transferred to
Remember
Indiana.
Taven Jackson?
Yes, sir.
He was good. Wasn't he a 4-star?
He was dynamic.
He would have been the guy if Nico didn't
If Nico did not show up, he would be our
Yeah.
quarterback.
Okay. Indiana, baby. Shout out my boy Ryan in the chat. So Taven Jackson's going to take over for Curtis Rourke. This is probably the best passing attack that Indiana has seen up to this point with Will Rogers in Washington. Do we think they have a chance? Do we think that Will Rogers and them can get going right and score with Indiana with a backup quarterback? I'll give you this before you answer. Keep in mind, this is a Washington team that gave up 40 points, count them 40, to Iowa. The Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, man, I'm going to keep it short. Indiana's going to roll this team. Absolutely. Indiana, to me, is going to lose one ball game, and they're going to be undefeated heading into Ohio State. Give me Indiana.
I'm going to take Indiana as well, even with Taven Jackson starting. I think he is a good talent. He's just needed kind of an opportunity, and he's going to get an opportunity now with a really good football team. What's the Kurt Cignetti is the head coach there in Indiana, correct?
Kurt Cignetti.
Yep, I love
yeah.
Kurt Cignetti, big Kurt Cignetti fan. Taven Jackson's going to do some good things in this game. But Washington's going to find a way, I believe, to keep it close with Will Rogers. I know what you're saying about Iowa, and I saw that game too. I could not believe that Iowa put up 40 points in a football game. I thought maybe they were combining their last 3 game scores into one. I didn't know what was happening. I thought there might have been a glitch on the screen. But right now it's spread 6.5 only on this game. So Vegas believes this game is going to be close, and I do believe this game is going to be within I'm going to say within 10 points. But Indiana will find a way to win at home.
I'm kind of with you. I think this will probably be one of the closer games that Indiana plays. I'd be more inclined to, or I would feel better about Washington had Curtis Rourke gone out maybe in the midst of this game, or maybe like today, and they had to throw Taven Jackson in there on a Friday, and be like, hey, kid, you're starting. But they've had a full week. Taven Jackson played a little bit last week. The game was already over. It was already out of reach for Nebraska. But he got some time. He got some live reps.
And he had 2 touchdowns. He went 7 for 8 with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so give me Indiana. I think they're gonna kind of roll here with Taven Jackson. So Washington's best win. Washington's best win is Michigan.
Gross.
And Michigan, from what we have found out, is not a good football team.
No.
They are basically starting a revolving door running at quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for Washington. So yeah, I'm with you, Ryan, and you're with us, all the boys. We are rolling with Indiana to win. That being said, guys, Michigan, who's Dookie, they are.
This is the one we may disagree on a little bit.
This is
the game.
I think going away, this is the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
It's the night game. I'm surprised it's not the game day game because I feel like it's going to be a better game. Baton Rouge, the boys and the Tigers are taking a trip down to Texas A&M to play Mike Elko and the hot Texas A&M Aggies. What's our initial thoughts, boys? How are we feeling? What are we gauging as far as Texas A&M and LSU? With Texas A&M wearing all black jerseys and LSU wearing all white jerseys, and what is definitely an all-time uniform matchup.
You said this is the uni game of the week, right? For sure.
Yeah.
I look at this game and I'm scratching my head because I don't know. I really don't know. I think if I had to decide right now, give me Texas A&M because LSU is still due for a game to just not play well. And I know, Jay, we talked about this off camera. USC was that game. I don't think so. I think they still are due a game where they just don't show up. And Kyle Field's extremely hard to play in. Even the Texas A&M Aggies. Shout out to my man, Johnny Manziel.
I know Kyle Field's a tough place to play. I do. I get it. Mike Elko, it seems like he's revived this program incredibly fast after
Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher was there. That's right. It almost feels too fast, and it feels like, man, we didn't expect to be here. And LSU with Brian Kelly, as much as I don't believe in him as one of the elite college football coaches, he's still a good football coach, good college football coach. I really like what LSU has been able to do the last couple of weeks. They won a big game against Ole Miss. They just beat up on Arkansas, which in Arkansas, we saw Tennessee struggle there. LSU's riding high. We're talking about vibes and things like that. This is a nice – oh, boy. This guy's – hey, sir, can you move out the camera? Thank you. You're just in the way of the camera a little bit. You're good. Yeah, as well as Texas A&M has played, LSU is just more primed to be in this spot right now. Brent Nussmeier's played better than Connor Wegman. Caden Durham's coming on strong as a freshman running back. And the way this defense has played without Harold Perkins has been inspiring. So with that being said, I'm picking the LSU Tigers to go on the road and get a nice road victory and stay atop, surprisingly, of the SEC.
Yeah, it's not something we expected coming into the season. Was this
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
LSU going to Texas A&M for sole possession of first place in the SEC? I mean,
Middle of
whoever
of the
had
season,
that
no.
on their bingo card, let me in on a little bit of your gambling luck there. I'd like to know. But man, looking at this game, what it came down to me for is what version of Connor Wegman are we going to get? Are we going to get the Missouri version of Connor Wegman, or are we going to get the Mississippi State version of Connor Wegman? Last week, man, 15 for 25, 217 yards, only 60% completion, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I mean, that'll get the job done against a rebuilding Mississippi State. But to play against the hot LSU team, who, like you said, and something that I don't think anybody expected, the defense looks better with Harold Perkins off the field. Did not see
Crazy.
that coming. Whit Weeks, man, my boy Whit Weeks is an absolute animal. He is playing lights out right now. I'm rolling with LSU, man. I think when it comes down to consistency, I trust a little bit more in Garrett Nussmeier to be able to get his than Connor Wegman to get his. I know it's Kyle Field at night. It just feels a little too gimmicky with the blackout jerseys and the Aggies getting up too much for this game. I think LSU is going to go in and handle business. So I'm going to roll with the Tigers, and I'm going to roll with surprisingly Brian Kelly to get a big win this weekend, and LSU to take sole possession of first place in the SEC.
So, LSU, can they make the SEC championship game? Is that real?
Yes, with the way that Bama's looked and the fact that they get Bama at home, they most certainly can. If they manage to beat Texas A&M this weekend, they'll have a bye week, and then they'll play Alabama. Then their last 3 games are at Florida, Vanderbilt at home, and Oklahoma at home.
They might sneak into the SEC title game.
They could very well sneak their way into the SEC title game if they manage to win. They got 2 big weeks coming up in the next 3 weeks. So I just got to see how they handle business.
Yeah.
Now, Joseph, remind me, as well as our listeners, it's not East and West anymore. So,
Nope. It's the best 2 teams. There are no divisions.
So an LSU and an Alabama could go, technically?
Technically, yes. LSU and Alabama could, in another year, yeah, I think Alabama at this point is probably done.
So Georgia and Tennessee could play twice.
Yeah,
a 4-week
theoretically,
span.
yes. Yeah, in a given year, 2 teams in the SEC could and are probably more than likely going to play twice, if I had to guess.
Wow. Playing Georgia twice? I'd love it. I'd love it.
I mean, it would mean we were in the SEC title game. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I would love it
exactly.
too.
You know, I'll be showing my tail down there in Atlanta. My home, city,
You would? You'd be showing your tail? Does
showing my tail.
that mean, like, you'd be running around with your pants off?
No,
Or what?
just be having a great time. My colleagues and my friends.
Rock out with, never mind.
All right. All right.
You know what's interesting?
So-
Speaking of, like, other matchups, because that's our core 4 for this week.
Yep.
And I don't think we need to go any further really into that. But another interesting game this week is Texas and Vanderbilt, surprisingly.
All of a sudden,
Vandy's-
that's a dangerous game.
Hosting Texas, coming off, obviously, a beatdown at the hands of your boys, the Georgia Bulldogs. The smile's still big on your face. And I found an interesting stat, horns down, pow, as always. Found an interesting stat about this game. Believe it or not, Vanderbilt is actually 8-3-1 against Texas all time. Can you
I mean,
believe
make
that?
it 9-3-1, man. Vandy in the door. I'm just kidding. I can't. No, listen, Vandy's great, and they're an awesome story. I love that Vandy's ranked this year. I love that they've looked good. But, man, Texas, this is a get-right game for Texas.
I hope Diego Pavia comes out and just crashes somebody else's party. But I'm with you. Look, it took a lot for them to win against Alabama. They're not that good of a team. They might be a top 25 team,
For sure.
but they're not an upper echelon SEC team yet. Clark Lee has
Yeah.
taken some really nice steps to get the program where it is, reviving it. It used to be on life support when he first got there.
100%.
Now he's got a functioning human being. He's got a functioning program now.
They were there just for the check for a
Yeah.
majority of their existence.
100%.
Guys, Vanderbilt should be undefeated right now. and they should be a top 15 team in college football. Their 2 losses are by a combined 7 points. That Mizzou loss was a fluke. The Georgia State loss was a fluke.
I think that win against Alabama was kind of flukish too.
They were.
It
Joseph's
was.
point.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if the win versus Bama. I wouldn't say it's fluky, but it was one of those games where it was like Vanderbilt played at the utmost of their ability for 4 quarters. What are the odds that we get that? Because throughout the season, you get 12 instances of a team. You get a different instance of a team every week. So Vanderbilt in that game against Bama, that was more than likely their ceiling. That was their, we cannot possibly, with the roster that we have and the offense that we run, play any better than we played this week. And there are things that, watching the tape, there are things that Bama left on the field and didn't do in that game that I don't think you're going to see from the likes of a Texas. So while I do love the Doors and I love the story and I love that they're ranked, and it's nice to see them finally be playing for more than just the SEC paycheck, it's going to be tough to see them do what they did again against Texas.
All I gotta say is Texas. I think Sark is going to have their minds right, but also I know that Vanderbilt is going to play with house money. They're playing 3 as a bird. Texas has expectations. Vanderbilt does not. They're happy. This is the most wins they've had since the James Franklin era.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. Auburn, South Carolina, LSU, Tennessee. They could win 2 of those and have a nice 7-win season. We'll see. Only time will tell.
There's some other interesting games on the slate here this week. Penn State going to Wisconsin probably should be a defensive battle at a night game on NBC and Peacock. Should be a close game. Vegas has that kind of as a close game. And then number 22 SMU at Duke at 8 o'clock on the ACC network. SMU 6-1, Duke 6-1.
2 6-1 teams. Like, I'm confused on why.
Wow.
And we get the love for Vandy because they beat Bama 100%.
Yep.
But no ranked love for Duke being 6-1. I know the ACC is what the ACC is. I get it.
And
I get
who
it.
have they beaten that's comparable to Alabama?
Nobody. They
Yeah.
haven't beaten anyone that's
Yeah.
comparable to Alabama. I'll
Barely
give
beat
you that.
North Carolina
100%.
without
They
their
have
starting
not.
quarterback.
They do not have a game that's even close to the Bama win.
They barely beat my UConn Huskies.
They did. They did.
Barely.
And I'm not saying they should be ranked. I'm not saying, hey, I'm not, standing here waving the flag saying rank Duke, but just
You're
a
thinking
little,
about it.
just a little bit of love, maybe just one person who's like, I'm gonna put Duke in my top 25.
They had the perfect opportunity to show me. Talked about Missouri earlier. That's the show me state. They want to be a pro homie. Well, I want you to show me. SMU as well as Miami back-to-back weeks. Let's see it.
Oof. Well, Duke, you had a good run, but 6-3 is coming in hot, baby. 6-3 is coming in real hot.
They did receive 2 votes, though.
Oh, I'll take it.
They received
I'll take it.
votes.
That's all I'm asking for.
Yes.
You guys should write on that board.
Tennessee's
That's
not
all I
playing
asked
this
And you
week,
should
though.
pick what teams you think are going to win.
I
Big Blue Nation. Is something on your shirt? What does that say? University of Kentucky?
Sucky.
There is a game I'm very interested in though, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. Penn State is on the road at Wisconsin. Penn State ranked the number 3 team in the nation. Are we buying Penn State as the number 3 team in the nation?
Not at all. James Franklin is not a good football coach, y'all.
Well,
He's
hang
a
on.
car salesman, bro.
Hang on. There's a fine line between not a good football coach and winning the games you're supposed to win and losing the games you're supposed to lose.
Y'all, we got to stop putting James Franklin on this pedestal of college football elite. He's not. He's just not.
He's gonna make the playoff this year. They're
He
going.
should. They very well
They're
should.
going to go. What is it? 11-1. They'll
They sh-
lose to Ohio State.
Yep.
But they should beat Wisconsin. They should beat Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. They should. They should win all of those games.
Yeah.
But you put James Franklin in the playoff or in the title game in the Big Ten. I mean, that's not gonna be a good mixture. He usually doesn't win those games.
So if he has 2 losses, is he still getting to the playoff at large?
I think for me.
Both to Ohio State. Let's just assume.
If you look, yeah.
But I don't think they're getting to the. I mean, it's going to be.
It'd be Oregon.
Should be.
If Ohio State makes the Big Ten title game,
they'll be facing Oregon.
They'll be
again.
more than likely facing
Or
Oregon.
Indiana.
Now, I was going to literally say, if Indiana, they have a strong chance. If they beat Ohio State, they're in the Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
So now the Big Ten would have 3 to 4 teams. Somebody in the SEC is getting left out. That's crazy, bro.
I know. Big Ten's more legit now.
Boys, here's the thing that I don't know if you guys are thinking about, but when it comes to Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State, there's a world where they're all undefeated.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, they're all 12-0, and we got to figure out who's going to the conference title game because Indiana doesn't play Penn State or Oregon for the rest of the season. So if Penn State somehow manages to beat Ohio State and win out, and Oregon wins out, and Indiana wins out, you've got Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon all 12-0 in the Big Ten.
How do you do the tiebreaker?
I don't know what the Big Ten's. I know the SEC tweeted out their tiebreaker
You would
rules.
have to-
I don't know what the Big Ten's tie. I mean, it's probably your number 2 tiebreaker is probably wins versus common opponents.
It's score differential.
So
between
yeah,
common
it's
opponents.
yeah, it's going to
That's exactly
be
what it is.
how bad you beat other teams that you've played.
Yeah.
But that realm exists, and this is the problem we have
Are
with
you on the tiebreaker
Yeah, go for
situations?
it. Go for it.
Okay. The tied teams will be compared based on head-to-head matchups during the regular season. That's obviously null and void. The tied teams will be compared based on record against all common conference opponents.
Okay.
That could be, but if they won,
That's null and void.
then that's null and void if you all win, right?
Well, it at that point it comes down to score differential.
But it said record against all common and conference opponents. So the record is, again, null and void. The
Oh,
tied
okay.
teams will be compared based on record against common opponents with the best conference and conference record
yeah.
and proceeding through the common conference opponents based on their order of finish within the conference standings. Does that really matter either?
No, it doesn't. Because
Well, it doesn't because they would all beat.
Yeah.
Like
They'd
we're
be
assuming at
undefeated.
this point, Ohio State
They're
would
all-
be the best team, and they would all have wins over Ohio State.
Yeah. The tied teams will be compared based on the best cumulative conference winning percentage. Doesn't matter. The representative will be chosen based on the highest ranking by Sports Source Analytics, team rating score metric following the regular season.
So a power ranking,
Yep.
and at that point, it's going to be Penn State and Oregon. Now, I don't think we're going to get to that world because I don't think Indiana's
I
going to
don't think
beat
so
Ohio
either.
State, and I don't think Penn State's going to beat Ohio State. But I'm just letting you guys know that world exists, and that realm is a possibility.
there's also a world where there's 7, 6, and 2 SEC teams,
7, 10, and 2.
6 and 2 conference.
Oh, conference.
yeah,
And 10 and 2 ultimate records.
yeah.
I don't even know.
It's tweeted
I don't
out
even
by.
know what the SEC is going to do at that point.
I don't know either. It's going to be crazy, guys.
It is going to be wild. But with that being said, we got to get young Malcolm out of here.
Yes,
He's got to
sir.
rock and roll.
Yes,
We do.
sir.
Follow us all over social media at Chat It Up Sports. Get us wherever you get your podcasts. Again, follow, like, subscribe. 5 stars, nothing less. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their parents and mom and sisters and daughters and brothers and cousins and all the aunts and uncles and everything. The holidays are coming up. Again, Halloween, next week, which is incredibly fun. So yeah, just follow us all over. Give us, the rating is huge. If you all want to just take 2 minutes,
Take your phone.
go to Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is,
Boom.
hit the 5 stars,
Boom.
follow, subscribe, the whole
That's it.
thing. YouTube would be fantastic if y'all want to just hit that subscribe button, smash it. That would be great. We love y'all. We're hoping to do more social media content. Miggy's got some really good content from our Tennessee trip that's going to be coming out here in the near future.
Cooking up as we speak.
I cannot wait for that. That's going to be awesome. For For Joseph Guthrie, the producer, a.k.a. on-air host and college football guru, 1-7, my brother, Malcolm Harris. With us,
12, the quarterback, of course.
Greg Launard.
Yes.
We will see you probably on Monday. I don't know if we're going to have time to do a show on Saturday night, but we might. We might surprise you. All
Who
you have
knows?
to do, again, is subscribe and follow along for you to find out. We love y'all. Be nice to somebody. It could change their life today. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. We will see you soon. Peace and love.